respected Principal Dr. B.B. Sharma, Vice Principal Professor Dr. Preeta Nilesh, my department colleagues, and you all the wonderful dear students. I, Dr. Girish Pusarkar, Head Chemistry Department and Dean of Science, welcome all of you for this program on careers in chemistry after BSc. I feel very happy to share that 1,157 students have registered for this program through WhatsApp and Telegram. I'm thankful to all of you for this overwhelming response, and I'm sure that we shall try to meet your expectation. This program is organized under DBT STAR scheme by the Department of Chemistry in association with Career Guidance and Placement Cell. I shall briefly introduce to you about the DBT STAR scheme. The STAR College scheme is initiated by the Department of Biotechnology and works under the Ministry of Science and Technology. It supports colleges and university departments to improve science teaching. It provides finance to the institution and encourages the students to pursue science courses at UG level. Our college came under this scheme in 2017 and for 5 science departments. Under this scheme, several activities such as workshop, seminars, guest lectures, practical training session, industrial visits were carried out. Now I request our principal, Dr. B.B. Sharma, to give a brief review of Vazi College. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pusarkar. Vice Principal, Professor Dr. Preeta Nilesh, Dr. G.G. Pusarkar, Head of the Chemistry Department, Dean of Sciences, and Convener of DBT STAR Scheme, all teachers of Chemistry Department, and my dear students, I welcome you all to today's session on careers in chemistry after BSc, organized by STAR Scheme and Chemistry Department of V.G. Vaze College, Autonomous. The V.G. Vaze College is 4 times NAAC accredited A-grade college with potential for excellence status from UGC. The college has STAR scheme for undergraduate research from DBT. The college has 20 departments and 9 PhD centers. The college has scientific research center which provides technology to the industry, and it provides tissue cultured aromatic oil plants to farmers and also train them in how to cultivate them. We have a very unusual course in postgraduate diploma in cosmetology and perfumery. The college has advanced research lab in chemistry managed by the adjunct professor Mrs. Bhatt. The program organized today is very important for all of us. It's very important for all of us to know what after graduation. The college has been organizing placement after graduation, and This program has been organized under DBT STAR scheme. Our convener for DBT STAR scheme, Dr. Gigi Posalkar, has been organizing many programs under STAR scheme, like guest lectures, workshops, exhibitions, and study tours. It has been run in a very efficient manner, and we all know Dr. Posalkar is not only a very good teacher, but also a very good organizer. He was also in charge of Vazay Talent Search in our college, which was also run very efficiently under him. I'm sure all the chemistry graduates will gain a lot from today's session and will benefit in their further careers. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable information. I now request our Vice Principal, Professor Dr. Preeta Nilesh, to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Posalkar, and good morning. Good morning, Principal Dr. Sharma, faculty members of the Department of Chemistry, and dear students. At the cost of being repetitive, thank you for this very overwhelming response. When it was time for those like me to choose our careers, we were absolutely dependent on our parents, family members, and friends to help us to decide. Career counselors were expensive, and the word counselor was almost a taboo. We were just familiarizing ourselves with the internet, and the computer was more like a typewriter to us then. However, in this world that is driven by technology, it is different. The world is at the click of our fingers, and we are flooded with information on almost everything that we wish to read and know to build our knowledge base. Hence, it is possible to have full information and knowledge about career paths that we wish to follow post our graduation, and we must. It is the need of the hour to plan our career after our basic degree and to understand what are the various paths as well as avenues. Such knowledge is a step closer towards our goal, and I'm sure you all agree with me. Towards this, the chemistry department under the STAR DBT scheme has organized this program for guiding all of you towards career advancement in association with the Career Guidance and Placement Cell of Vazay College Autonomous. This program will give you an insight into the various career opportunities that are available for chemistry graduates, which I'm sure will benefit you hugely. I, for one, am very happy that such a program has been organized and it has drawn such a great response. I congratulate the Department of Chemistry for organizing this very student-centric activity, and I wish the entire team my best for this event. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Posalkar.
Thank you, Preeta Madam. Now, we will start with our program.
So here are the presenters of today's session. Megha Chakravarti, Nupul Ade, Saika Khan, Harsha Singh, Ritika Parihar, Ansu Albert, Saili Morie, Ajinkya Kurade, Rushil Sapkar, Shruti Deshpande, Umang Gajra, Umesh Gutte, Manish Modak, Prathamesh Tope, Bhavesh Athani, Divya Shinde, and Aditi Naik.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Megha Chakravarti, and today I'm going to be talking about career in cosmetic sciences. Now, we can all agree that having a career in cosmetic sciences is one of the most interesting and creative thing one can do with their chemistry degree. Of course, you can start your career even with other science subjects such as chemical engineering or biology, but we'll talk about that more on later. First, let's talk about the reason to be in the cosmetic industry. Here, as you can see, the worldwide value of beauty and personal care market is going to increase to $716 billion by the year 2025. It's an ever expanding market and it's just getting stronger and stronger day by day. Talking about India's cosmetic market, it is going to reach 25%. It is going to grow by 25% to $20 billion by the year 2025. Now, Let's talk about what to do with a degree in cosmetic sciences. One of the most common thing one can do is to become a cosmetic chemist. Let's talk about the things you get to do as a cosmetic chemist. Here, you'll get to do everything from product development, product testing, and business stuff. Let's talk about some reasons to be a cosmetic chemist. First, as a cosmetic chemist, you will spend the time actually applying your knowledge and not working on theoretical problems. Second, you love science and you can express your creativity. Next is that you get to be an inventor. Your art takes the form of a beauty product which the world can potentially fall in love with. Another reason is that the chemicals involved in cosmetic industry are very gentle and you don't have to deal with toxic chemicals like the people in pharmaceutical and oil industry have to. Lastly, it's that the business major know how complicated chemistry can be and you will be the most respected person in the company. Now, if you don't want laboratory to be your end game, then you can try your hands at other careers too. You can be a process engineer. A process engineer is responsible for scaling up the formula from bench to tank. You will basically make everything, but just in larger scale. Next, if you have a lot of socialization skill, you can be in technical sales. Here, you will deal with a lot of B2B and B2C deals. You can also start your own business. If your business spirits are all time high, then why not start your own cosmetic line? Lastly, you can be an educator. If teaching is your interest, then just go for it. You can definitely consider pursuing a PhD in cosmetic sciences to boost your career as a professor. Now, let's talk about how to get into cosmetic sciences. At bachelor's level, you would need a degree either in chemistry, biochemistry, chemical engineering. If you have a bachelor's degree in environmental science, then you can definitely get into the safety and environmental side of the cosmetic industry. Now, if you have any other BSc degree, like physics or maths, you can still try your hand. It's not impossible. Now, let's talk about what to do after a bachelor's degree. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of courses available in India, but one of the courses that are available in India is PGDPCM, the Postgraduate Diploma in Perfumery and Cosmetology Management by Kate's Fiji Vesicator College. And if you have the resources and opportunities, you can definitely try your hand all around the globe because there are many colleges and universities that offer great cosmetic sciences related degrees. Lastly, let's talk about the requirements to apply for colleges in India. You would need to be a graduate in chemistry as your main subject, or you can be a graduate in any other subject. Interviews will be conducted by the college when required. For the requirement to apply for colleges outside India, you would need to take an English speaking test, either the IELTS test or the TOEFL test. The interviews and competitive exams will be conducted by the college if required. Lastly, I just want to conclude by saying that if you have a passion to create, why not try your luck in the cosmetic industry? Thank you so much.
Morning everyone, my name is Nupul Adil. Today I am here to talk about careers in chemistry. My talk is particularly about career in chemoinformatics. Let us see what is chemoinformatics. Chemoinformatics is a generic term that encompasses the design, creation, organization, management, analysis, visualization, dissemination, and use of chemical information. Chemoinformatics is a modern computational tool that works by bringing together both information technology and chemistry to solve chemical problems as well as problems related to drug discovery. It is the process of storing, mixing of information resources to transform data into information and information into knowledge for the intended purpose of making better decisions faster in the areas of drug-led identification and optimization. In other words, all the chemistry data and information about various molecules are managed and made accessible by storing them in proper databases. It is possible only through chemoinformatics. Chemoinformatics also made it easy for scientists to search for molecules, their structures, and detailed information using the numerous databases available. Therefore, a focused and in-depth study in chemoinformatics could help scientists and professionals in developing new drugs for many diseases that are still a threat to humanity. Nowadays, chemoinformatics plays a vital role in finding the drug against COVID-19 to the chemists and pharmacists. Need of chemoinformatics in chemistry. to handle large amount of information, to move chemistry into the computer age, to move from data to knowledge. It also helps to reduce the time taken for identifying potential drug targets, also to understand physical, chemical, as well as biological properties of several components. Chemoinformatics aims to develop an awareness of informatics management techniques used in the design and implementation of chemoinformatics systems to enable students to demonstrate skills learned by carrying out a small-scale industrially relevant chemoinformatics research project. Scope of chemoinformatics is in various fields such as drug designing, clinical research, synthetic chemistry, pharma industries, pharmacogenomics, systems biology, and nanotechnology. Following are the applications of chemoinformatics. Quantitative structure activity relationship, that is QSAR, is a computational modeling method of releving relationship between structural properties of chemical compounds and biological activities. QSAR modeling is essential in drug discovery. Eligibility criteria: one must pursue a bachelor's degree in engineering science, pharmaceutics, computer science, BSc in chemistry or any equivalent, biotechnology, molecular biology, and pharmacology. After completing bachelor's degree, you can apply for MSc in chemoinformatics or postgraduate diploma courses in chemoinformatics. Duration of such PG diploma courses in chemoinformatics is of 1 year. However, depending upon whether it is a regular or distance learning program, there are courses that are of 6 and 18 months duration too. After completing chemoinformatics course, you have the opportunity to work in fields like bioinformatics, computational chemistry, material science, pharmaceutical research, theoretical chemistry. The job profile which you can apply for on the basis of this course are chemoinformatics scientist, computational chemist, chemical data scientist, information analyst, information officer, QSAR software tester, and technical editor. Here are some renowned institutes that offer chemoinformatics courses. Institute for Chemoinformatics Studies, Noida. Institute for Bioinformatics and Applied Biotechnology, IBAB, Bangalore. Bioinformatics Institute of India, Noida. School of Life Sciences, Tamil Nadu. You can go through the website and check out. Link is provided. Lastly, I would like to conclude that chemoinformatics will further introduce advancements in chemistry and open new possibilities in the field of drug discovery. Hopefully, the availability of information related to the chemoinformatics will catalyze further developments and would open new advancements in this field. Thank you.
Good morning, one and all. My name is Khan Saika, and today I am presenting one of the streams one can opt after graduation. This field mainly deals with food science and technology that are being used to transform raw ingredients into food, and it consists of methods such as preservation, packaging, distribution, etc., that provides clean and nutritious food for consumption of human beings and animals. Food chemist as a career. A food chemist is someone who analyzes and improves the chemical composition of food, and they ensures the food items meet food laws and labeling requirements. Here are some popular career paths in food industries. Like any other industry, food industry too offers varied range of roles and positions to professionals. Like one can be a food scientist, food technologist, inspector, nutritionist, chemical or the organic chemist, etc. Coming towards flavoring industry. People eat food which gives satisfaction to the palate, and it is a job for flavorists to satisfy their desire by modifying the taste and flavor of it. Most of their job involves laboratory work only. So if you have an interest in food and chemistry, then flavor chemistry is a career for you, and which blends both of your interest areas. Now, for pursuing career in flavor chemistry, one should have a science background. One should be graduated in chemistry or biochemistry. For higher posts, one should do MSc in chemistry or food science. If one is willing to have a job in R&D department as a food scientist or food technologist, so one can do PhD in chemistry, flavor chemistry, or biochemistry. Here are some entrance exams conducted by institutes to admit students like JEEF, CFTRI, IICPT, GATE, etc. Now, despite the fact that it is a new discipline, various universities and institutes in India offer comprehensive range of courses. Here are some leading institutes in India. Now, coming towards preservative industry. Preservation technique, it is a multidisciplinary course. Students studying microbiology, chemistry, biochemistry, biotechnology can also opt for this. It has a wide range of applications in dairy industries, all ready to impact food industries, pharmaceutical industries, etc. There are many institutes in India from where one can get a knowledge of preservation techniques, like A.D. Patil Institute of Technology in Gujarat, SNDT Women's University in Maharashtra. Now, where food technologists can take up jobs. There are various domains where graduates and postgraduates can take up jobs like hospitals, restaurants, software manufacturing firms, research laboratories, pharmaceutical industries, etc. There are many leading there are many leading industries in India where one can opt for a job like Amul, ITC, Nestle, Parle, etc. Coming towards the demand and scope of this course. As it is a modern practice that improves the distributional efficiency and enhances the marketing of food products, there is an ample scope in this career. Trained professionals are required to prevent losses in storage. Food industries offers compensation depending upon the candidate's educational qualification, analytical skills, work experience, management skills, etc. And this course promises an exciting career opportunities across the globe. According to my verdict, if you are passionate about a career in food science and technology, then you should definitely go for it. According to my analysis, food and agriculture, as it is one of the top trending subjects nowadays. And I believe you have got the result after this webinar. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Harsha Singh. Today, I will be talking on career in oil and gas management. Before taking you to the core of my presentation, let me tell you something about the Indian oil and gas presentation industry. The Indian oil and gas industry has been instrumental in fueling the rapid growth of Indian economy. The sector meets more than two-thirds of the total primary energy needs of the country. The oil and gas sector has been actively involved in putting India on the world map. India is the fourth largest consumer of oil in the world. Despite the economic crisis, India's energy demand continues to rise steadily. India ranks 21st in terms of global oil reserve. The Indian oil and gas industry is broadly classified into upstream, midstream, and downstream segments. Now, I will be talking the core of my presentation, that is career in oil and gas management. The oil and gas management is basically a division of management which deals with the supply, logistics, transportation, infrastructure, and management of the oil and gas industries. As you know, the demand of oil and gas has been rising in both national as well as an international market, which has led to the growth of oil and gas industries. This field offers you a rewarding career in energy and hydrocarbon industry. Talking about the objective of this course, it works to enhance the productivity in the energy, oil, gas, and transportation industry. It helps in developing and designing new technologies for the oil and gas resources. It also offers the support in research and development activities in technical and managerial aspects of oil and gas industry. While the courses which are available in this particular field are like bachelor courses, one can do BSc Honors in Oil and Gas Management, BBA in Petromarketing. Master courses are Master of Science in Oil and Gas Management, MBA in Oil and Gas Management. Certificate and diploma courses include postgraduate diploma in Oil and Gas Management. The eligibility criteria is that one should have a minimum 50% score at both higher and senior secondary level of education, that is at your class 10 and 12. One can do graduation in engineering or simply BSc with physics, chemistry, maths, and should have at least 25% 50% of score from a well-recognized university. Here are some of the MBA entrance exams which I have listed, like CAT, Common Admission Test, MAT, Management Aptitude Test, CMAT, that is Common Management Aptitude Test, GMAT, Graduation Management Aptitude Test, SNAP, that is Symbiosis National Aptitude Test. Talking about the colleges where you can pursue your career in oil and gas management are listed here on the screen, like University of Petroleum and Energy Studies in Dehradun, Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University in Gandhinagar, Amity University in Kanpur, last but not the least, International Institute of Information Technology, Pune. After pursuing a degree in this particular course, one can work as energy consultant, assistant manager, educationalist, sales associate, lab supervisor, and so on. Well, your top recruiters are Bharat Petroleum, Oil India Limited, followed by Indian Oil Corporation, Essar Oil Limited, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, and so on. Thank you for your patient hearing. I hope this information will be helpful to you people to pursue your career in this particular field.
Hello, I am Ritika and I am going to present to you oceanography as career in chemistry. First of all, we need to know what oceanography exactly is. In simple words, oceanography is the study of all things that is related to ocean. The subject of study covers wide range of topics that concerns the ocean. There are mainly 4 types of oceanography, namely biological, physical, chemical, and geological oceanography. Each subject finds its importance in the discipline of oceanography. After gaining the degree, one is called as an oceanographer. The job of an oceanographer is to apply the basics of science to study the oceans. This field is mostly research oriented. There are some personal attributes as well, which is to be taken care of that I have mentioned. Here are some postgraduate programs in oceanography. Please remember that candidates who have completed degrees in zoology, botany, chemistry, earth science, geology, microbiology, and fishery science can also apply for master's degree in oceanography. I have also mentioned a few PhD degrees in oceanography if you wish to study further. To get admitted, one can apply through entrance exams, although some colleges offer admissions on the basis of merit as well. If you're thinking, what's the scope in oceanography and are there enough job opportunities? Well, then let me tell you, considering the initiatives taken against climate change are opening numerous job opportunities in both private and government sectors. Oceanography will always have great opportunities. Since oceanography is a huge field and one simply cannot be an expert in all the areas of this subject, hence there are few specialized subjects that focus on specific areas of ocean. I have also mentioned some employment areas and you can please go through them. Among many colleges and universities that provide courses in oceanography in India, there are these 4 universities that top the list. The world needs scientifically educated people who can give solutions for the environmental crisis, and besides, the scope in oceanography is said to be exponentially increasing. So I really hope you read more about oceanography. Thank you.
I am Saili Morie and my friend Ansu Albert. We both are going to present a presentation on career in cryogenics. So yes, here I am going to introduce you to this course, like what is this course about, what are the applications where cryogenics is used. And here we go. So basically, cryogenics is a science which involves the study of low temperatures. Cryo means very cold and genic means to produce. How to produce them and how materials behave at those temperatures. The liquid gases used here are commonly oxygen, hydrogen, helium, and nitrogen. The liquefied gases that are used here are kept in their liquid state at very low temperature and they are extremely cool. Here, cryogenic is used in a variety of applications like to produce cryogenic rocket engines, MRI machines, in food preservation technique, in cooling superconductors, etc. So here are some applications where they deal with the preserving of animals or humans with the hope of bringing them back alive. I would like to relate them with the movies and series where these applications were used. Starting with Captain America, he was stuck inside the ice. In Zathura, Kristen Stewart went into the cryogenic chamber, the Passenger movie and the 100 series, etc. Initially, we were unaware of the scientific reason behind the scenes. However, now when we watch them again, we would relate them to low temperature science. Also, these applications are used in the surgeries to destroy abnormal tissues. Even they are used in rocket engines and in superconductors. Now, the further explanation about how to get entry into this course will be given by Ansu. Over to you, Ansu.
Thank you, Sally. I'll be talking about the ways in which you can enter into cryogenic or cryonic fields. So after you have completed your graduation in physics, botany, or zoology, you can do your master's in the respective field and you can go for research. You can also grab a job or you can do any kind of short-term courses. Now, there are n number of certificate courses that are available, which may be paid as well as free of cost. One such free course is available on Swayam. You can just go and check their site. Apart from that, if you're graduating in chemistry specifically, then you can go for your BTech in chemical engineering. After that, you can do your MTech in cryonics, which is basically a 2 years course. However, this route is quite lengthy. So only like after your graduation, you have to study for more 4 to 5 years. So only those who are really interested and are dedicated towards this field should take up this route. Talking about the admission process takes place through entrance test like JEE mains, or there are also associate exams that are conducted by various colleges. For direct admission, candidates can directly visit the site. However, there may be some kind of screening that is done, like there may be an interview or there may be some sort of test. Now, talking about the job posts that are available after this course, the core lab demands the need of engineers, scientists, and cryobiologists. However, they also need technologists, lab assistant to look after the lab environment, to carry vitrification processes, handling of cryoprotectants, and so on. They also require technicians to handle your cryo module assembly. Yes, so you can just take a note of these posts. Now, talking about the list of colleges, these are the list of the colleges that offer cryogenic courses in India. They offer both long-term as well as short-term courses. Among them, IIT, that is Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, is known as one of the best colleges that offer cryogenic courses in India. Now, there is some course details. There are two types of courses, like one is long-term courses and short-term courses. Talking about long-term courses, they range somewhere between 4 to 5 years. So that basically includes your bachelor's, your master's, and research in cryogenics. However, when it comes to short-term courses, they range somewhere between 12 weeks to 20 weeks. And they include cryogenic storage and transport, vacuum techniques, cryogenic safety, etc. Now, the benefit of short-term courses is that it lasts up to 6 to 8 months. That is, it gets completed within a year. And it also provides hands-on training as well as certificate, which has value outside. Now, who should pursue this career? Talking about Indian Cryogenic Council, under the leadership of Professor Akshay Bose of Jadavpur University, ICC was formed in the year 1975. This ICC is more related to cryogenic rather than cryonics, and also we know the cryogenic engine is used for our telecommunication purposes. You can visit their website, which is www.indiancryogenics.com, and there will be membership information that is given on their website. They organize webinars and also meetings, and also on a regular basis they publish some journals, so you will get access to all of it. If you're interested, you can just go and check their website. Now, talking about who should pursue this career, then extremely dedicated person should go for this. They should possess highly developed analytical
as well as technical skills, and also should be able to work for a long duration, like for a long working hour. Now, this field is quite promising because whenever the word cryonics comes to our mind, always the phrase cheat the death comes along with it. Therefore, it's quite interesting. Due to time limitations, I cannot stress um, upon the interesting facts about cryogenics, but you can definitely Google it or watch videos on YouTube. It's quite interesting. Now, talking about opportunities in cryogenics, if you're someone who is not interested to preserve patients or work in cryonic field, then you can definitely go for cryogenics, wherein we have several emerging job opportunities that include space research, defense research, MRI, blood banking, frozen food, etc. Scholars in this field can grab job opportunities in NASA, ISRO, as well as BSSC. Now, the orange slide which is given there is just for your general information about the recent invention made by ICC. Now, I would like to conclude by saying that within the next few years, medical facilities are surely going to develop. Scientists are working on development of cryonics as well. And one day in future, the field of cryogenics and cryonics will make remarkable inventions. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I, Rushil Sapkal, and my friend Ajinkya Kurade are going to give a presentation on environmental impact assessment. So, what is EIA? EIA, or environmental impact assessment, can be defined as the study to predict the effect of a proposed activity or a project on the environment. It is a decision-making tool which compares various alternatives for a project and seeks to identify the one which represents the best combination of economic costs and environmental benefits. In other words, it can be said that it is the assessment of the environmental consequences, both positive as well as negative, of any plan, policy, or project prior to the decision to move forward with the proposed action. The purpose of this assessment is to ensure that the decision maker considers the environmental impacts when deciding whether or not to proceed with a given project. EIA is an important management tool for ensuring optimal use of natural resources for sustainable development. Now, moving on to the opportunities offered. Job opportunities in the field of EIA are excellent with the right educational preparation. Traditionally, job opportunities in this sector include positions in academia, government, environmental consulting. Many of these consultancies have an aging workforce and are engaged in the trend of long-term hiring to replace the retired people. This is a very specific field, and the career tracks are generally determined by the level of education obtained. EIA experts can get specialization work in air pollution and control, water pollution and control, hydrology, soil sciences, etc. These EIA experts explore the project area, its processes, and suggest the remedial measures for the negative impacts of a proposed activity, plant, or project. Now, my friend Ajinkya will tell you more about the basic eligibility criteria and the scope in this field.
Thank you, Rushil. So, talking about the basic eligibility criteria you would need to satisfy academically, I would say anyone aspiring to pursue this as a job or a career can have a basic BSc graduate degree in the field of natural, general, or biological sciences. One can also have a higher education qualification by being master's graduate, that is MSc, in the field of environment, chemistry, or geology, etc. Or else a candidate can be from a technical background having MTech degree in environmental engineering or remote sensing also. A candidate having postgraduate diploma in pollution control, geoinformatics, or remote sensing, etc., can also opt for this job. Or one can have a PhD in environmental science, environmental engineering, or chemistry also. So now you might wonder about the kind of scope or the type of job you would have to do when you enter this field. So talking about the scope, there is an immense and an uprising scope in this field. There are different organizations which may hire you based upon your qualifications. Organizations such as conservation organization, environmental advocacy organizations, or federal, provincial, or municipal governments, local land use organizations, or oil, gas, and mining organizations, even private consultancy services, or you can have also be self-employed for that matter. Talking about the type of job you might have to be employed for can be as an environmental manager for EIA studies or some other consultancies. You can be a scientist or an analyst in government or private research institutions or labs, a scientific officer in NGOs or the government, a lecturer in universities, an assistant manager in various corporate groups, or also as a consultant in different consultancy services or NGOs. The basic skills that one must possess are legal and policy knowledge of companies and their agendas regarding the environment. Secondly, a good technical and analytical knowledge if you're going to be doing most of your work in labs. And lastly, you must have good communication, negotiation, and good people management skills as well. I hope you guys would think of this field as an opportunity for doing something noteworthy for the nature as a whole and consider being associated with the EIA. And also, why not use your knowledge and expertise for the welfare of our planet? Let's try to leave it in a better place than what we found it in. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Shruti Deshpande with my friend Reva, and we are here to guide you all through this budding and important branch of chemistry, that is perfumery as a career in chemistry. So let us begin understanding what is exactly perfume. Perfume is a mixture of fragrant essential oils or aroma compounds, fixatives, and solvents which are usually in liquid form used to give human body, animals, food objects an agreeable scent. What is the history of perfumes? Perfumes or parfum is a French word which is a mixture of fragrant essential oils or aromatic compounds. It got discovered in the areas of Middle East and Rome. There was a point when perfumes became so enticing for everyone that the formulation and its creation became the most important topic of interest. The classical versions of perfumes began in Grasse in south of France and ultimately expanded to Paris, making it the perfume capital of the world. Now let us see how a perfume classified. The most practical way to start describing a perfume is according to the family they belong to. Example, the floral ones which smells like flower, the fruity ones, grass, woody, and different types of wood. They are also described on the basis of sets of notes. As you can see in the diagram, fragrance pyramid, there are three notes. The top note or the head note is the immediate fragrance that hits you when you spray a perfume. It lasts for about 5 to 15 minutes. Then it further evolves into a middle note or a heart note, which lasts for about 20 to 60 minutes and further evolves into a base note. Further, let's see what are the major aromatic sources. Materials can be obtained from different sources in nature. Some of the plant sources are bark, flowers, fruits, roots, woods, resin. Some of the animal sources are ambergris, which is obtained from whale, castoreum, which is obtained from an animal beaver, civet is obtained from civet cat, musk and honeycomb. Nowadays, animal sources are banned. Let us see what is the Indian fragrance market by Indus. It is divided on the basis of applications. The household products consist of about 20%. The fabric care constitute for about 19%. Others include 8%. Personal care products are the products that we use and it stays on our body. Example, creams and cosmetics. It constitutes for about 8%. 33% includes personal wash products, which includes the products that are washed off. Example, shower gels and shampoos. Now let us look at the basic job opportunities that are available. There are different levels as to where one can apply for a job. There is a general manager for all the sectors. The fragrance development branch is divided into head developer who loves to talk about fragrance. A perfumer is the one who loves to mix and match and creates and see what is the end product. Technical support has a senior analyst who loves to see graphs and analyze the data. Blender is the one who loves blending and is basically an applicantist. Marketing includes new things that are upcoming in the market and also who is very good in sales and marketing. Further, how to go about the course would be explained by my friend. Over to you, Reva.
Thank you, Shruti. Now I would like to talk to you about the skills required to be a perfumer. First, you would need a good nose for scent, a strong knowledge for fragrances. You should know how to combine the fragrances. And if you're working in a lab, you should have the patience, the dedication, and the precision. You should have teamwork skills and good communication skills also. Next, I would like to talk about the courses in the perfumery, which is from our very own college in India. That is the PGD PCM course, which is offered by VG Wazir College. And the full form is the Postgraduate Diploma in Perfumery and Cosmetics Management. And it is collided with the French Group Institute. It has 2 years of course, and it has the requirement of BSc in chemistry, botany, pharma, biotech, life science, and even zoology students can apply for this course. On completion of this course, students work in industries like L'Oreal, SH Kilcut, etc. for 3 months. As you can see, many of the students have got 100% placement in industries like ITC, L'Oreal, Govardhan, Lama, Simrise. Further, the courses abroad are from the ISIPCA, which is tied up with our own VG Wazir College. It is situated in France and it has a duration of 2 years course. And its requirement is BSc in chemistry, pharma, biotech, and life science. The Grasse Institute of Perfumery, it gives a IT and degree diploma, and it is duration is 2 years and 18 months respectively. Further, I would like to talk about the benefits, which is aromatherapy. It treats insomnia, it boosts your health, it enhances your mood. The future of perfume is nowadays the perfumes are manufactured by synthetic chemicals since the animal sources are being banned. Pocket perfumes have become more and more popular, and one can showcase their talent by creating their own fragrances. In the last point, you can see that the fragrance market in India is anticipated to reach 139 billion. So in the next slide, I have shown the graph where you can see the future projections from 2015 to 2025. And in conclusion, I would like to say that perfumery is a very good option as a career, which has high income and demand. I hope we see many students from our college opting for this career. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Good morning, everyone. I am Umang Gajra. Today, I am going to talk about polymer chemistry as a career after your bachelor's. Polymer chemistry is a subdiscipline of chemistry which involves synthesis, characterization, study of principles of natural and synthetic polymers and macromolecules. These polymers are natural biopolymers like silk, collagen, cellulose, or starch, as well as man-made polymers like rubber, silicones, gels, polyurethane, Teflon, to name a few. Polymer industry is a large-scale industry in India, generating a lot of revenue and working as a backbone to support our needs of daily use objects, textiles, CDs, chair, cooker handles, etc. Indian companies manufacture a number of polymers like polystyrene, PVC, HDPE, polypropylene, to name a few, and their demand is ever increasing. Thus, there is a possibility of greater scope for jobs in future and numerous openings for skilled polymer chemists. The industry requires at least a master's degree in the specialized field, for which some noteworthy colleges have been mentioned. Some of the prominent ones are BBAU, Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Lucknow, Chaudhary Charan Singh University, Meerut, and CPET, Haldia. These are one of the best institutions in India to pursue a master's in polymer chemistry. One noteworthy mention is Institute of Chemical Technology, ICT in Matunga, which provides masters in textile chemistry. This is a course which provides great opportunities for bagging a job in industry or a further research. All of the above mentioned institutions have their own entrance exams. Indian plastic industry is a huge domain for producing many goods, leather clothes, sheetings, packaging, etc. Skills are very much necessary for this, and some of which have been mentioned here. The skills require proper communication as well as interpersonal skills. The person must be an efficient team worker, must be having good analytical as well as problem solving skills. He or she should remain updated about scientific developments and technologies. Polymer industry involves numerous job profiles, some of which have been mentioned here and include laboratory manager, production supervisor, chemical research associate, to name a few. On the successful completion of the master's course, there are various hiring companies and institutions which involve food and drinks industry, plastics, polymers, pharma, and others. For lectureship, one needs to clear NET exam, and after that, he can become an assistant professor. Asian Paints, Deepak Novochem, etc. hire fresher as well as experienced candidates. In addition to all these openings, large-scale research is being conducted at numerous institutes for fresher, greener, and better alternatives to polymers like polythene. Green chemistry has taken pace over the years, and thus research on biodegradable plastics produced from waste lobster shells is largely being researched. Startups have begun on a massive scale in India working in this sector to curb microplastic pollution. Thus, I conclude by saying that as years pass by, plastic problem grows exponentially. Hence, there has to be someone who stops all this, the polymer chemist. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Myself Umesh Gutte and my friend Manish Modak. We are going to talk about few aspects of forensic science and the career in crime investigation. Now coming to our basic question, what is forensic science? Forensic science is the application of scientific knowledge and methodology to criminal investigation and legal problems. It is a multidisciplinary subject. It encompasses various fields of science such as chemistry, biology, physics, geology, etc. Forensic scientists are who help to collect, preserve, and examining physical evidence during the course of an investigation. He must be a methodological, accurate, and unbiased one. Now, key skills required to be a forensic scientist are as follows. The capacity to undertake fine, analytical, painstaking work with exceptional attention to details, a logical, unbiased, and methodological approach to problem solving, and ability to work deadlines, a persistent approach and inquiring mind, the ability to work well in a team as well as independently, strong analytical skills, and keen observation is much necessary. To have a successful career in forensic chemistry, one needs the following skills. Firstly, the spectroscopy techniques are used to check the purity of materials. Carbon-14 dating uses the level of carbon-14 present in the sample to determine the age of fossils and other substances. Different chromatography techniques are used to identify trace amount of drugs and poisons in the body. Scanning electron microscopy, neutron activation analysis, energy dispersive spectroscopy to identify and gunshot residues and post-exploration debris are used. Now, the role of forensic chemist in the forensic science is as follows. He conducts chemical analysis on evidence collected from crime scenes. He has to determine possible misconduct in criminal cases by analyzing the evidence, conferring with other professionals, as in associated disciplines like law enforcement, medical examination, and toxicology, composing the lab reports, reconstructing the physical perspectives of a crime scene using models, drawings, and 3D imaging technology, attesting to the legality of criminal data in legal procedures.
Let's see the eligibility for the forensic science courses. The students who completed the bachelor degree in forensic science or any science stream or medicine, engineering, pharmacy with the minimum 55% mark from the recognized university can apply to the course. Here are the list of some colleges in India that offers the forensic science courses. Most of the college consider the graduation degree marks and also conduct a separate entrance test and personal interview for the admission to the courses. After completing the MSc degree in forensic science, you may go further for the specialization in this field, or there are many jobs available in the field of forensic science, such as crime scene investigator, forensic ballistic expert,
forensic DNA analyst, forensic toxicologist, forensic documents examiners, forensic computer investigator, forensic psychologist, and also you can work in a forensic lab as a lab assistant, lab in charge. If you are passionate about the teaching, you can also go for a teaching after starting clearing the NET set exam. The main recruiters for the forensic scientist are Intelligence Bureau, Central Bureau of Investigation, hospitals, law firms, private detective agency, government or private bank or insurance company. Every field has its pros and cons. The pros of this field, there is variety of field to choose from, the toxicology, chemistry, biology, etc. The job is exciting. No 2 days are ever same. Both the government and private sector offer a lot of benefit to retain their skilled workforce. The work whole utmost important for upholding the judicial system of this country. The cons, while working in this field, you may expose to dangerous or harmful chemical that is harmful to our human life being. There is a constant pressure of being accurate in finding. In this field, if you uh, create a one mistake that punish an innocent person, that's why you have to be accurate in your finding. Lastly, to sum up, the forensic science is a unique field which, if pursued in a right direction, can shape a good career path for both students financially and professionally. Thank you.
Hello everyone. We are going to talk about astrochemistry, chemistry beyond imagination. So, when and how chemistry was brought up? At the beginning, when humans were non-existing, there was nothing around in the whole universe. The whole universe was in hot dense state, and nearly 14 billion years ago, a big bang took place. Expansion started and everything changed. After a span of time, universe cooled that the hydrogen and helium nuclei could trap and hold on electron, creating the first atom. The electron light decouple form matter, making universe transparent. This afterglow of event is still observed today as the cosmic microwave background, and it marks the beginning of the astrochemistry. What is astrochemistry about? It is the study of abundance and reactions of molecule in universe, their radiation and their interaction. This discipline is an overlap of astronomy and chemistry. Astrochemistry spans the discipline of chemistry, planetary science, physics, chemical, biology, astrology, and computational science. Now I would like to hand over the presentation to Bhavi Sathani.
Whenever it comes to astronomy, we think of one subject, that is physics. But one should know the importance of chemistry in astronomy. Astrochemistry is one such field where chemistry can help us to identify the spectral lines. Any astronomical object in the universe, can be its composition can be identified, its element and its molecular properties. Speaking about the educational background, you must have a bachelor's degree in physics, chemistry, or biology as one of the main subjects. Later, you can pursue MSc in astrochemistry from any of the universities. One must have different skills while pursuing degree. Okay, basically every career needs special skills. Okay, if you're lacking, you can work on them throughout your career. One such important is communication skill, which plays a vital role whenever it comes to presenting your work. Your written or oral skills get checked. Along with it, you must be skilled in problem solving skills, along with analytical and critical skills must be at the peak. And along with it, you must be having the exact you must be also be have the ability to extract the information from a given data, which is also an important role. All this will gradually grow as you going to go through it. From which colleges can you pursue astrochemistry? Basically, in India, there are few institutes like Indian Institute of Science and Research from Bangalore. There are even TIFA in Mumbai. There are Radio Astronomy Center in Tamil Nadu. For all these institute, basically, you need to give an entrance exam that is just Joint Entrance Screening Test, which is conducted basically in the month of February every year. Along with that, if you are wishing to continue your astrochemistry outside India, that is abroad, you can go into New York, you can Australia, in California, and many such institutes. So talking about the jobs in astrochemistry, obviously whenever it comes to astrochemistry, basically we are into research and development scientists. Basically, you can also work as a professor if you're wishing to. So talking about the research, you can, top recruiters in this field in India and outside India are basically BARC, TIFA, NASA, and many other. So basically, whenever it comes to astrochemistry, I want you all to know, whenever if you have a close space and you're a space lover and all, obviously you should go for astrochemistry.
Good morning to one and all. Myself Divya, and today I am here to make you all aware on the topic technical writing so that even you can acknowledge about this sometime in your career. Now let's see what is technical writing. Technical writing is a type of writing where the author is writing about a particular subject that requires direction, instruction, or explanation. It is performed by a technical writer and is a process of writing and sharing information in a professional manner. This style of writing has a very different purpose and different characteristics than other writing styles, such as a creative writing, academic writing, or business writing. Now move to a next slide. Let's see what are different types of technical writing. The first one is legal technical writing. Legal technical writing refers to all legal documents and fine prints in binding contracts. Second one is medical technical writing. It explains the instructions to software and hardware used to run a hospital. Then scientific technical writing, which explains the theories, hypotheses, experiments, and their significance. Fourth one is mechanical technical writing. It involves instructions for how to build machines or use tools. It may also incorporate design, calculations, memos, and oral presentation. And the last one is business technical writing. Business often use technical writing to explain rules, regulations, and plans. Now let's see what are the 5 traits of technical writing. The first one is accuracy. Accuracy refers to the truthfulness and the variety of given statement. Basically, it refers to getting the facts straight. Second one is accessibility. Accessibility means the ease of which the readers can locate the information they seek. Then conciseness. Technical writing supposed to be clear. So having a massive document that takes time to read will get very hard for the readers to read after a while. So it is good to stay clear. The fourth one is clarity. A technical writing document needs to have a single reading that the reader can understand. And the last but not the least, the very important trait in technical writing is audience recognition. Because this aspect is based around the audience and how will they understand the writing. If your audience can't understand your writing, then there will be no way to adopt your own writing. Now let's see what are the characteristics of the technical writing. Technical writing mainly deals with a subject matter. It is characterized by formal elements such as a scientific and technical vocabulary. It utilizes writing styles, example description, cause and effect, classification, illustration, partition, comparison, and contrast. Technical writing presents and explains a subject matter in a clear, accurate, and concise manner. It maintains an attitude of impartiality and objectivity, and by the absence of any attempt to arouse emotions. Now move to a further slide. Let's see what are the essential skills of technical writer. Technical writer should be detail oriented and diligent. He or she should be able to pay close attention and notice minor details. Second one is excellent writing skills. Third one is communication skills. You can handle any situation just by a good communication, mostly proactive communication. So technical writers should be able to communicate with audience or the readers proactively. Then teamwork and intercommunication, which is the most important skill required in any field, because teamwork promotes collaboration, commitment, motivation among the staff or members. And imposing team responsibility helps to increase an individual's strength. And effective communication within team will build a common purpose among team members. Then language skills and knowledge of technical terminology. Now, move to a further slide. Let's see what technical writer actually does. Technical writers often create diagrams to show users how a product works. Technical writers are also called as the technical communicators who prepare instruction manuals, journal articles, and other supporting documents to communicate complex and technical information more easily. Now, how to become a technical writer? First, on your bachelor's degree, pursue a technical writer certification, create a portfolio of samples, build up your professional network, and develop your industry knowledge. Move to a further slide. Let's see what are the career opportunities after doing technical writing. On completing courses for technical writing, one has a many options, such as a technical writer, technical web writer, usability tester. Usability testing refers to identifying a product or service by testing it with representative users. Then information mapping designer, who presents a systematic approach to organizing and presenting information that is based on the needs and the expectations of the reader. At the end, I would like to conclude that technical writing is a writing discipline that is sometimes defined as simplifying the complex. It is not reserved solely for writing manuals. Because of its wide range, modern technical writing is present in nearly every industry in some form or another. Thank you so much for your kind attention, and I sincerely appreciate that I have had this opportunity to present to you. Thank you.
Speaking in public is a challenge, and a challenge, I believe, must be accepted. What do you think? We all have the moment on the stage when we go blank. Have you ever faced this on stage? Well, I have seriously faced on stage once in my school. Speaking in front of the crowd means having to go sleepless nights, nervousness, deadlines, and many rounds to the toilet when you are just about to start. Am I right? Okay, guys, so my name is Aditi Naik, and I'm here to acquaint you all on how to captivate an audience so that you can conquer your public speaking fears and get your message across. So, what's your greatest weakness? Some chemists might admit that it's public speaking. Surely, even I can get butterflies in front of a crowd. But for some people, public speaking elicits a huge amount of worry, fear, and anxiety. So let's dive into what public speaking is. It is basically a soft skill that requires excellent communication skills, enthusiasm, and the ability to engage with an audience. For today's scientists, skill in public speaking is very important. The face-to-face interaction that occurs in an oral presentation leaves a stronger impact than words on a printed page. Now let's see why employers value public speaking skills. Public speaking is an important skill in knowledge-based industries. So these opportunities are valuable experiences for anybody to strengthen this skill. Well-prepared speakers are highly valued by employers and tend to earn leadership positions and important clients. Now moving on to the next slide, you can see that I've conducted an online survey where I got enough responses to evaluate the result. You can have a look on the questions put up and the corresponding responses received. So from the above pie chart, we can analyze that almost everyone has knowledge about speaking publicly, and most of them have also addressed a huge crowd. You can also see that everyone have their personal strengths and weaknesses as well. But what matters is most of them have accepted that conversing plays a vital role in one's life. Now further, let's see how to learn how to improve public speaking skills and dive into research-backed tips so that you can gain confidence to get on stage, face the crowd, and master your stage presence. So firstly, nervousness is normal. So practice and prepare. Organize your material in an effective manner in order to attain your purpose. Always watch for a constructive feedback. Let your personality come through. Always use a sensible language. Don't read unless you have to. Avoid nervous gestures. Be an attention seeker. And finally, make sure that the speech is given a dynamic end so that it doesn't look incomplete. Now, moving on, let's see places where you can practice public speaking. As a chemist, you can't hide from communicating the science that you are doing, especially when you are a researcher. So, to get comfortable with speaking in public, start having confidence in yourself and the science that you are doing. Always learn to talk to your co-workers about your research before you have to give a talk about your science in any confidence. According to me, graduate school is a wonderful place to practice public speaking by getting engaged in activities like presentations, seminars, college events, fests, and etc. We all know candidates with strong public speaking skills are in demand for many occupations that require the ability to speak to a group. And if you feel that you possess love for speaking publicly, here is a list of professions that you should consider when choosing a career path. To name a few are professors or teachers, industrialists, guest lecturers, career counselors, and the list is endless. Now, moving on, let's get to the courses that are available with certification, training tutorial, and duration. So we have Dynamic Public Speaking by University of Washington, where the course duration is of 8 months, which includes assignments, hands-on training, etc. Then we have Public Speaking by Rochester Institute of Technology, where the course duration is 3 weeks. It will help develop your soft skills with industrialist experts. And if you wish to join career counseling course, then GCC course by UCLA Extension and Univariety helps you become a certified career counselor. For more such courses, you can refer the below site mentioned. So friends, I hope you all must have understood the role of public speaking in one's life. The trend to offer science stream, as we need engineers, physicians, and chemists, is not only enough. With the expansion of business and industries, production and export of merchandise, the need of public speaking has played a vital role. Thus, the foundation of science was laid purely due to the scientific attitude of the mind that is questioning and reasoning. To end with, I would definitely say that it is good to deliver a speech on the ways to change this world. So guys, why not start from today? Thank you and have a good day. I hope it was a fruitful session, and I'm sure that it will definitely help you deciding your future choices. After going through all the presentations, there is a traditional course after BSc, that is joining for MSc. MSc can be done in 4 different branches of chemistry, mainly physical, inorganic, organic, and analytical. I am providing you the list of colleges which are offering MSc on aided and unaided basis, and I will also display the list on the group. If you have any queries related to presentation, then please email us on the following email ID, which we will be providing. All the doubts will be cleared. This email ID will also be forwarded on the respective groups. Now, Dr. Girish Pusalkar sir will be giving a vote of thanks. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Dear students, I hope you have come across various career opportunities available after BSc. I also hope that you have gained something from this presentation. There are so many career opportunities beyond this also available. But in a short period of time, we have to cover this presentation. So I hope you have enjoyed the presentation. You can give the feedback of the presentation. For any doubt clearance, you can email us. We have provided you the email address, and the queries can be solved. I'm really thankful to our principal, Dr. B.B. Sharma, who have taken initiative and supported us in organizing this program. I'm also grateful to Dr. Preeta Nilesh, whose motivation has helped us to carry out this program. The basic pillars for these particular programs are the three members who have interacted with you. They are Prathamesh, Bhavesh, and Aditi, who have absolutely taken special efforts to bring this particular program to you. I'm also grateful to Mr. Shreyas, who has designed the flyer in a very beautiful way. Last but not the least, I am grateful to all of you who are present for this particular program and made it a grand success. So thank you all of you. Goodbye.